This is the plaintiff, Lakima Ethna Ashiri. She says the defendant is her sister and they live together. A short time later, they got into a fight and then she moved out. Her dear sister told her she could leave a few of her belongings behind until she found a new place, but then did an about-face. 7 days later, the defendant put all her belongings on the street in a garbage. It was raining out and her beautiful TV was ruined. Her bicycle was stolen, as was her bed. And she's here suing her own flesh and blood for the $1,000 she's out. This is the defendant, Marisha Davis. She says her sister caused a whole lot of havoc when she moved in and ended up moving out a short time later. She gave the plaintiff every chance to come pick up her abandoned things, but she didn't, so she tossed them in the garbage, and here they are. She's accused of setting off a sister.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff is suing her sister, whom she lived with, but they had a big fight and she moved out. The defendant put her stuff on the street that got ruined in the rain, but the defendant says the plaintiff abandoned her stuff. It's the case of Twisted Sister.
Thank you, Douglas. Lakima Ethna Asheri, you are suing your sister, Marisha Davis, for $1,000 in items that you say she tossed to the curb before you could have a chance to pick them up. What happened?
Well, she allowed me to stay with her, which was in November, because a friend of mine I was staying with, she moved out of town, which she kicked me out.
How was your relationship with your sister before that?
Well, it's a little rocky, but I think every sister has a discrepancy with a sibling.
Okay. And?
The agreement was that I would pay her, first it was $50, and she bumped it up because of the cable, which that's no problem. $100 a month is nothing. I told her that it was only temporary until I found a place of my own.
And then what happens?
I told her that I found a house, which was in December, and that I would be moving out.
According to you, she stayed the whole month of November, right?
Yeah, she did stay the whole month of November. I believe she moved in like the last week of October. She moved in the last week of October.
What's the age difference between you?
2 years.
Okay, go ahead.
But the argument started because I asked if my girlfriend could come over, and it went left. She talks to me like, I don't know, she feel like she raised me. Her mouth is ridiculous, which is both, it goes both ways. But either way it go, you my sister. Me paying you $100 of rent was nothing.
See how you guys have broken your mother's heart?
This has been going on for 21 years, 18 years. This is what it is. So, I mean, honestly, however it turns out, that's still my sister, but she's ridiculous. We don't deal with each other. So.
Do you have children? Either of you have children?
She has children, and I can't see them because of whatever we go through.
Have you tried to see her kids?
Yes.
And
I have to go through her baby father, and he tells me no because she says no.
Why?
Okay, well, prior to her living, we do not communicate. We do not get along. I can text her and be like, well, how you doing? What do you want? I'm like, oh, well, I won't text her, call you.
I don't get her how you doing.
It's no stress off my back. However, yes, I told her she couldn't see my kids because when she lived with me before, she's disrespectful. This is around the time when my son was first born. It was disrespectful. We got into it. I put her out. I set her stuff out. She came and got her stuff that night.
You're just telling me about why you don't want to see her. What does that have to do with whether they have a love it? Stop and listen. What does that have to do with whether they have... As far as I'm concerned, the more people who love and take care of my child, the luckier my child is. So why is it that you won't let her see your children? Oh, how old are your children?
7 and 1.
7 and 1. So certainly the 7-year-old knows her because, and especially since she was living there for a month. But so why is it you won't let her see her nieces, nephews? Both?
Because I feel like when you tell me, I make sure you don't have no house, no car, or no job, or no man. I feel like that's just not taken from that's taken from my kids. So when you threaten me like that, you're not allowed to see my kids. And then it's not like
Did you say that?
What I did say was, if you set my belongings outside, which this is after she set my belongings outside, if I was the that you were, then I would make sure you had no house, no car, because I could be vindictive.
How could you make sure she had no house and no car?
Because how she set my belongings outside and made sure...
Oh, you mean you'd hurt her house or her car?
Exactly.
That's nice. Well, then I see why she doesn't let you see her kids. All right, but now, okay, so you move out, and do you move out in a fight with her?
No.
Okay. Why don't you take all your belongings when you move out?
Okay, she kicked me out, which was, I think, 3 days before I was supposed to move into my apartment. Now
How
we got.
come? Okay, wait, hold on. Why weren't you able to stay there until you were moving to your apartment?
She kicked me out.
But why? What happened that
She
day?
kicked me out because I asked her if my girlfriend could come over. Honestly.
Okay, why is that a reason to kick you out? What was the problem with that?
That's not why I kicked her out.
So if you have a sibling that you just really don't like, and you have a kid, would you still let your kid have a relationship with a sibling?
Not a chance. If I don't like my sibling, my kid's not liking my sibling. They're obviously a bad person because I have good taste.
Interesting. What do you say?
As long as they're responsible and the kid loves them, then family's family, I think. So yes.
What do you say? What do you say? Tiebreaker.
I think so. Yeah, yes.
Dude, can I tell you something? You know who you look like?
Don't say Kevin Hart.
Okay, then I won't say. He looks like Kevin Hart going inside the courtroom.
I can't walk around in little shorts because your girlfriend's there, or I can't walk around in a t-shirt and underwear because your girlfriend's there. Like, no, I don't want to see your girlfriend every
I'm
time
sorry,
she's
did
off
she
of
ask
work.
if her girlfriend could move in? Or
No,
did she ask if her
asked
girlfriend
could
could come over?
over? But she was there when she was off of work, like she lived there. Like,
I was hardly there.
All right, so now, okay, so go on. So she says, you know what, just get out now. And then you get out. But how do you move all your stuff that's there?
I moved my things. She told me that my belongings could stay. So I moved my things out when I moved into
What day
my...
did you move?
It might have been the 9th. But I moved my things out that day when I came to get my belongings.
Okay.
I had a TV, which is like a box old-fashioned TV. It's huge. And I couldn't get it out the basement.
Okay.
And I was on like a time period. I asked her, can I leave my TV?
How old was that TV?
10 years, 9.
Is that what you're suing for?
Yes, I am.
How do you figure that a box-shaped TV that's 10 years old is worth $500?
Because my mother...
Good luck with that. You know,
okay,
your measure of damages in court is going to be the value of the item at the time of the loss.
Exactly.
So you had a TV, a big box TV that's a decade old, and the measure of value is what could you sell it for, at a yard sale? What could you get for it if you tried to sell it? All right. You also had a bicycle. Tell me about that.
My bicycle was a racing bike. I paid over $400 for it.
Do you have any paperwork from
No,
that
I
bike?
do not. I looked it up to get some.
Okay. Do you know what kind of bike it was?
No, ma'am. It was Jordan bike.
All right, and then $100 for bed rails because you had bed rails. And apparently, what did she do with all of these things
She
that you
set
left
everything
behind?
outside to the trash.
When did you set it outside?
I texted her at 15, like, well, when are you come? Can you come get your stuff, by the end of the week? Because she said, well, you said you can stay here. She never said how long she's going to stay there. She said till she finds someone who can help get it out the basement. It took 3 men to get it out the basement. And it was no reason.
Wait, but it's only been a week since she left it there.
Yeah, I asked her when she was coming to get it. I said,
and what did she say?
She said, you are miserable. You told me it could stay there. I said, well, I don't feel like doing no favors. Like before, I don't understand why would you, then right after she moved out, we didn't talk when I kicked her out and then she came back. She just pop up. She gonna text me when she leave. Can I use your shampoo that I just bought? No. Like...
What are you guys, 4? So what did you do with her stuff? You went through the trouble of getting that out of your basement to spite her and put it on the curb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's going to cost you. Do you feel good? Because it's going to cost you. What do you think? You can't... first of all, technically speaking, you're a landlord and she's a tenant. Okay? Can you imagine if you said to your landlord, can I keep this here until I can find somebody to help me? And a week later, your landlord says, pick it up tonight or it's going on the curb, and then you put it on the curb. Your landlord can't do that. The law protects you against your landlord doing that. What do you think is the difference here? She's staying at your house, quote, you're doing her a favor, but you're charging her, so she's a tenant. And you tell her she can leave it there, but then you change your mind because she called you a B word or whatever it is, and you can't stand her attitude and you just don't feel like being nice to her. That's fine. But there's a consequence for putting her stuff out on the curb. According to her, the bike was stolen. What happened with the bike?
I gave it away to one of the people who helped me take the stuff out.
Oh, you gave the bike away?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He wanted to use the bike, so I gave it to him.
And has he returned it?
No.
Wanted to use the bike or he wanted to own the bike?
I was putting it out. He said, well, can I get it? I don't care. It's going out on the curb anyways.
My
What's
sister.
wrong with you? Listen, do you love your sister?
No.
I didn't ask you. Do you love your sister?
I did.
I did. Do you love your sister?
I love my sister to death.
Do you really?
I do. I really do. I don't
What's wrong
talk
with
to
you
my
people?
health.
I tell my daughters all the time, I gave birth to 3 humans who should be best friends cradle to grave. Cradle to grave. I mean, this is it. People come and go. Your friends come and go. But this is what you have. But it ups the ante a lot to take her things and put it out in the street. It does. And, she's got tears in her eyes. I don't know, I mean, it's not for my benefit because I'm already ruling here.
She's always crying about
okay,
something.
well,
She's
but
sensitive.
You don't know me, huh?
Find a little, stop. Melt that ice. a little bit, because this took a little ice, you know?
She texted my baby father and told him after I did it like 12 o'clock that night. I told my mom the next day. She texted my baby father the next day and said, oh, yeah, she's cheating on you with men and women, just so you know. Oh, no, I don't feel bad. Like you, and then you, no, I don't feel bad.
Okay, and you would like to respond to that how? Did you call her baby's father the next day?
Yeah, but vice versa, if her things was in my house, I would have never set her belongings outside. And yes, I did the next day text
just
her.
between you and me, because I want to know that you learned something from this. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, I want to know that you learned something. When someone has your stuff, is it a good idea or a bad idea to call her what you did?
Well, probably a bad idea.
There you go. I just want to know that you learned something. That's all.
Oh, I definitely
Now
learned.
let us discuss the bike. Okay, how old was the bike?
Like 2 years, maybe a year and a half.
How big was the TV?
60 inches or better. I have a picture of it.
Yeah, let me see it.
This is a picture of it out in the rain.
Oh, goodness. Let me see all the pictures of the rain.
That's the only one. That's the only thing
when
that
do
was
you
out
find
there.
out she put it out by the curb? The next day?
Yeah, my mom called me the next morning and was like, do you know that she sat your stuff outside last night? And I'm like, no. And it was pouring down raining. No, I didn't know that.
I'm going to order you to recompense her for the value that I find of the things that you ended up putting by the curb that were damaged and therefore, or that you gave away of hers, and that therefore she couldn't use anymore. And it's not going to be the amount that she's asking, but I am going to order you to pay her $450, okay, in damages. I got to tell you folks, man, I wish you both would just like take some time to stop being sassy with each other and think about it and then put it in perspective. Because honestly, you don't know this because you're both so young, but life is so short. You think you're going to live forever and that there's time to make up later, and then something happens, and then the time is stolen from you. Good luck, folks.
Tough case, of course. How are you feeling coming out of the courtroom here?
I feel fine.
You're pretty hard about the whole thing. Is there a soft side to you?
Them are materialistic things. She'll never gain a sister back. It's over. So, you know.
Are you sure you want to say it like that?
Yes.
You know? Because don't you want to leave the door open to change your mind at some point?
No, I changed my mind the first time when I let her come back the second time.
All right. Okay. All right, so you were the one who said, I love my sister to death, and I didn't hear her say the same thing. What's going through your mind here?
Well, it's been like that all our life, so I can't change it. She just need to realize what she's doing to her kids. Scratch my mom. My mom has me. She got to grow up, period. As the older sister, she needs to grow up.
And when she does, you'll be there for her?
Probably not. I'll be there for my niece and my nephew always, when
All
I
right.
can see them.
Harvey?
Okay, so you know, abandonment laws vary from city to city, so you should check online to make sure what the rules are for you. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.